گوہر شاہر مرحبا. Let's talk about Deen Ilahi with respect to understanding of Muslims. How should Muslim behave, and what should Muslims do? And should Muslim accept Deen Ilahi, or they should reject Deen Ilahi? If a Muslim truly believes in Islam and he truly believes in Quran, then he will have no problem accepting the religion of God, because it is the Holy Quran that's talk about Deen Ilahi. However, in the past, Baba Guru Nanak Dev Ji also tried to unite different religions like Muslims and Hindus. But his attempts were not successful. Because this was not his job. Number one, it was not his job. Number two, he was not appointed by God to do it. Number three, he did not have the tools of the trade. He didn't have the toolbox. And you see, the sacred book of Sikhism, Guru Granth, consists of poetry from different Muslim Sufis, Baba Bulle Shah and Baba Farid. So this was an attempt to unite different religions. And then Indian Muslim Emperor Jalaluddin Akbar, he had many wives. He had a Sunni wife, he had a Shia wife, he had a Hindu wife, and he wanted to please them all. So he created a religion in which he could let his wives enjoy their school of thought and they should not fight. And he called it Deen-e-Ilahi. This was the time when Ahmad Sarhandi, Mujaddid al-Afsani, was appointed by God. And he voiced against it. And he rejected it. So he was arrested and he was imprisoned. And since then, Muslims have started to suspect anything that has to do with Deen-e-Ilahi.
That's true.
The moment you talk about Deen-e-Ilahi, they will give you the reference of Jalaluddin Akbar.
True. Very true.
Deen Akbari. But I would like to draw their attention to what Quran has to say about the religion of God. And what ahadith have to say in relation to the implications of the religion of God and the time frame in which the religion of God will be brought into manifestation. Quran has repeatedly mentioned Deen Hanif, and Quran alarmingly and warmingly tells us that the religion of God is the future religion, and this religion is going to be established in future. It is very ironic that the modern day Muslim scholars do not have a grasp on this subject, and they do not seem to know anything about this future religion. However, it is mentioned in the Quran repeatedly. And some of these Muslim scholars, bear in mind they have no knowledge of this. Some of these Muslim scholars divert the attention of Muslims towards Islam, and they say Islam is the religion of God.
They do that. Vicious.
The religion of God is God's religion, and all Anbiya practiced this religion. This has been known with different titles. A few of these titles have been mentioned in the Quran. However, some Muslim scholars get confused when God refers Islam to be Deen Haq. Deen Haq does not mean Deen Ilahi. Deen Haq means true religion. Islam has been named as Deen Haq, true religion. But Deen Haq doesn't mean Deen Ilahi. And the reason why Islam has been the best religion is because only Islam has complete knowledge of spirituality. There are 5 souls in the breast, and all 5 messengers were granted by God knowledge of the each soul in the breast. Adam Safiullah was the first one, and he was granted the knowledge of the heart. Ibrahim Khalilullah was the second one, and he was granted the knowledge of the soul, Ruh. And then subsequently, Moses, being third, was granted the knowledge of Latifa Sirri, the obscure soul. And then Jesus was given the knowledge of the 4th soul in the breast, the hidden one, Khafi. And then Prophet Muhammad, being the last of prophets and last of messengers, given the 5th knowledge of the 5th soul in the breast, Latifa Ikhfa. And this is the culmination of knowledge. No more Lataif other than these 5. So those who submit to Islam were able to learn all 5 types of knowledge, starting from the heart and then culminating on the 5th one. But that is not it. There is another soul which is not part of any prophethood. There is a soul that sits inside your head, and this soul is called Anna. Latifa Anna. The soul is responsible for empowering you and enabling you to see God. And Prophet Muhammad was the only prophet who was given this knowledge by God, which simply means before the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no messenger and no prophet was able to see God, because they did not have any knowledge. Maybe they were not even aware of the existence of this soul in the head. There is a school of thought among Sufis in Islam. The Sufi order of Naqshbandiya. they do not recognize this soul in the head. Now, if they do not recognize this soul in the head, which is responsible for letting you see God, do you think any of their Sufi order would have seen God?
No.
Naqshbandiya Sufi order was initiated by Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. If they do not have the knowledge of the presence of the soul in the head, with the help of which you can see God, do you think Abu Bakr Siddiq would have seen God?
No.
Simple. There are only two Sufi orders in Islam who are aware of the existence of this soul. Sufi order of Chishtiya family and Sufi order of Qadriya family. Sufi order of Chishtiya was initiated by Ali Karamallahu Wajhul Kareem, and Sufi order of Qadiriya was initiated by Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. These two Sufi orders in Islam are the most authentic Sufi orders. And these two Sufi orders have gained enormous amount of popularity in the subcontinent. But I was amazed to know, Mir Sahab, Silsila Qadriya was not confined to subcontinent only, because the seat of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani was in Baghdad, which was part of Arab, which was the real Arab. You know, according to history, the mainstream Arab is Iraq. Honestly, it was a seat of education. Now, because the seat of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani was in Baghdad, which was Arab, so through Baghdad it entered Sham and Misr, and it reached Morocco. There is a Sufi order, a branch of Qadriya Sufi order in Morocco these days. It's a branch of Qadriya Sufi order. They are aware of the existence of Latifa Ana. So Muslims were fortunate enough to have Prophet Muhammad as their prophet.
True. Very true.
And because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was granted the knowledge and spiritual manual of Latifa Ana, therefore, thanks to the blessings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, many Muslim Sufis successfully saw God. And this ability or spiritual caliber of being able to see God is what makes Islam stand out from the rest. If you put this ability of seeing God aside, then Islam is no different than any other religion in the market. If you simply worship God and you do not have anything extra, when the Christians worship God in their churches, Jews worship God in their synagogues, Hindus worship God in their temples, and you also worship God in your mosques. And their worship is confined to their temples and churches and synagogues, and your worship is confined to your mosques. Then what is the difference between you and them? You become different to the rest of the world only when you pray and you see God. Because when they pray, they do not see God. And if you pray and you see God, then you are better than them. And those who are able to see God while they're praying, they were really the best ummah. Because this divine facility was only available through Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Therefore, anyone who wanted to see God had to become a follower of Islam. Outside Islam, it was not available. I hope you understand what I say. After the departure of Prophet Muhammad from this world, this knowledge was dispensed to the deserving souls from one chest to another. This knowledge was spiritually transmitted from one heart into another. This knowledge was not written in any physical book. This spiritual knowledge was spiritually transmitted from one heart to another. And this transmission of this special knowledge was served by a number of selected Sufis only. Not all Sufis in Islam were aware of this knowledge. As I earlier mentioned, Silsila Naqshbandi, who not only do not recognize the existence of Latifa Ana, but at the same time they are severely against Zikr Jahr. Although there are references in Quran, but some of these Sufis are so rigid in their belief against Zikr Jahr. They almost hate people who engage in Zikr Jahr. You know, this practice of Zikr Jahr was initiated by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. There is a hadith in Mishkat Sharif. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after one prayer, after one salat, asked the companions, "Is everybody in the mosque is from our own circle? There is no stranger, no ajnabi?" And he was replied, yes, everybody is from us.
جی
And then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, shut the door of the mosque.
جی
The door was shut. And then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam started zikr jahr. La ilaha illallah. Zikr jahr. One day what happened? You must have heard of Ashab Sufa. Ashab Sufa were the individuals who quit their families, who left their homes, and there was a special spot in front of the Prophet Mosque, and they would sit there all day, all night.
True.
And what would they do all day, all night? They remained engaged in zikr Allah. And this group of people were so fortunate that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was advised and instructed by God to allow them to be in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam's company, although they would stink. They wouldn't take a shower. I mean, 1436 years ago in Saudi Arabia, where you see Ramal going across here and there, and there was no shower, and there was no, facility available. It was not like today. You would go for a quick shower and come back. They would just sit there, sweat, and then sand. They would stink. But God said to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't worry about this bad smell of their sweat. I mean, God said, what if they're dirty? What if they stink? Don't forget the fact that day and night they engage themselves in zikr Allah. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was instructed to be patient with them, according to Quran. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would sit with them. Individuals like Umar bin Khattab used to get really frustrated. And we're so brave and we're so clean and we come from good families. Look at Muhammad. We're sitting with these dirty people. They don't even take a shower. And he's sitting with them. And then one day, one of these companions came to Prophet Muhammad and said, the rich people of Quraysh want to see you, but the only reason they are not coming to see you, because they say you're always sitting with dirty people. If you take some time out and meet these rich people from Quraysh, maybe they would submit to you and Islam. Now don't forget, even Quran said Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very haris in terms of spreading Islam. He wanted everybody to become Muslim. He was over ambitious about the message of Islam getting across different nations. So when it was said to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that these rich people from Quraysh could become Muslim only if you part with these dirty people. Now, because Prophet Muhammad was overly ambitious about spreading the message of Islam, so for a moment or two, he thought, okay, for some time, even if I don't sit with them and see those people from Quraysh, it wouldn't harm. He was just thinking about it, and God sent an ayah. And God said, no. What if they stink? What if they're dirty? They engage in zikr day and night. And then they don't seek anything anybody for except the pleasure of your Lord. How can you deprive them of your company? If anybody deserve your company, they are on the number one priority list, because they do not see anything but the pleasure of your Lord. Do you understand what I mean? So, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a moment or two thought, what if I take some time out and meet these rich people of Quraysh? Because as I said, Prophet Muhammad was overly ambitious about the message of Islam getting across different tribes of Arabs. So Prophet Muhammad started to think, okay, for a day or two, if I don't sit with them and I give this time to these rich people from Quraysh, there would be no harm. And he was just thinking, and God sent an ayah. And God said to Prophet Muhammad, "Oh Prophet Muhammad, let your nafs be patient with these people." God said, let your nafs be patient with these people. I know they're dirty. I know they stink. But so what? They do not seek anything but the pleasure of your Lord. And God said, these people are the most deserved ones of your company. Do not deprive them of your company. The reason why I have given you this whole preface is because the most important thing that I wanted to mention is now coming. So anything about zikr, anything about tasawwuf that comes from this group is authentic. Why Muslim want Abu Bakr Siddiq to tell you about tasawwuf? He did not sit there. Why do you want Umar bin Khattab to tell you about tasawwuf? He didn't know tasawwuf. I doubt it if he knew Islam. These are the people. Ashab Sufa. Yani, these are the people who had expertise in tasawwuf, expertise in spirituality. I mean, they were living in dunya, and within dunya there was no dunya. Their families would go by them and they would not recognize them. I mean, they were not living in jungle. In front of, there was a special place in front of the Prophet's mosque. Today maybe it's part of the mosque, but then it was outside the mosque. They would sit there all day, all night. People would sleep. Umar bin Khattab, Hazrat Ali, and Abu Bakr Siddiq, they would go home, their homes. They would sleep with their wives, they would stay with their children. But they quit their families. They quit their jobs, they quit their businesses. I don't know whether there was any fashion of jobs or... But they quit everything. Now, اب میں وہ بات کہہ رہا ہوں جو مجھے کرنی تھی اتنے بڑے تمہید کے بعد. اور اب اللہ نے ثابت کیا ہے امام مہدی کے ذریعے کہ ذکر جہر جو ہے یہی حلال ہے. پھر مجدد علیہ ثانی سے تو ہماری ویسے بھی تصوف کے معاملے میں لڑائی ہے.
بالکل بالکل.
ان کو نہ تو یعنی وہ وحدت الشہود کے قائل ہیں, نہ وہ دیدار کے قائل ہیں. تو پھر آپ کو مسلمان کس نے بنا دیا؟ جس وجہ سے اسلام کو یعنی امتیاز حاصل ہوا, جس وجہ سے یعنی مسلمان امت کو سب سے افضل قرار دیا گیا ہے, جب آپ کے پاس وہ وصف نہیں ہے تو پھر آپ کو بات کرنے کا اختیار نہیں ہے. Now, look, it's very important. Please listen to every word now on that I say. And then I will ask you a question. Ashab Sufa, they're all gathered. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam comes and sit with them. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam told them, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells them, do zikr with so much shidda and so loud until munafiqeen start saying you are munafiq. And then next instruction, hatta yuqulun majnoon, until people start saying you are mad. Okay? This instruction was passed to Ashab Sufa. And next day, Umar bin Khattab was coming. Remember, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do zikr with so much shidda, intensity, and so loud that munafiqeen start saying you are showing off. اتنی شدت سے ذکر کرو کہ منافق دیکھ کر کہے کہ ریاکاری ہو رہی ہے. کون کہے گا یہ بات؟ And Umar bin Khattab was the first one to see it. And he came and he said, why are you showing off? سمجھے آپ؟ جی بالکل. Now what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said is in front of you. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, do zikr with so much intensity and so loudly that when a munafiq comes and sees you in this state, he says that you're showing off. And the first person to witness this was Umar bin Khattab, and these are the words of Umar bin Khattab. Do you think God cannot hear you? یعنی انہوں نے کہا کہ تمہارا خیال ہے کہ خدا بہرا ہے؟ What are you making noise? Why are you showing off? Here you go. I'm not saying Umar bin Khattab was munafiq. Hadith Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam reveals it.
بے شک کیا بات ہے.
وہ کہہ رہے ہیں
بالکل بالکل.
Now if you love him so much and you want to reject what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is your own destiny. And then unfortunately we have people like Mujaddid al-Afsani. فاروقی کہاں سے آ گیا؟
نام کے ساتھ لکھتا ہے وہ
فاروق اعظم کی نسبت سے.
جی
احمد فاروق نام تھا.
اچھا نہیں وہ تو بھائی نقشبندی تھے نا. وہ فاروق عمر بن خطاب سے کیسے ہوں گے؟
نام کے ساتھ لکھتا ہے.
ارے تو وہ کہہ رہے ہیں نا نام کے ساتھ. ان کا نام تھا فاروق ہے. ایک فاروقیہ سلسلہ بھی ہوا ہے, لیکن اب اس کو چلنا کہاں تھا, اس میں کچھ تھا ہی نہیں. اس میں تو کچھ تھا ہی نہیں. ان کے پاس کیا روحانیت تھی؟
بالکل
اللہ معاف کرے, ان کے پاس تو عقل نہیں تھی, روحانیت کیا ہوتی. And now Imam Mahdi has come. And Imam Mahdi has revived the custom of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. امام مہدی گوھر شاہی نے احیاء سنت رسول کیا ہے. سمجھے آپ؟ جو پھر ذکر کے حلقے سجائے گئے. Only in Karachi there were more than 100 mosques in which followers of His Holiness Gohar Shahi would engage in zikr loudly. امام مہدی سرکار گوھر شاہی نے کام کیا. Now جلال الدین سیوطی رحمۃ اللہ علیہ along with his teacher compiled tafsir, interpretation of Quran. And this tafsir is called Jalaleen. And he said that this ayah of Quran belongs to the era of Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wassalam. Which ayah? وَمَنْ أَظْلَمَ مِمَّنَا مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَنْ يَذْكَرَ اسْمَهُ.
کیا بات,
سبحان اللہ.
پڑھنا ذرا وہ آیت.
ومن أظلم ممن منع مساجد الله أن يذكر فيها اسمه وسعى في خرابها.
Now tell me, if these people who God said is zalim, who would be more of a zalim than a person who stop people from doing zikr of God's name in the mosque? Do you think that zalim is from outside Islam?
No.
This is about Muslims.
She be also inside.
Yeah. They would allow you to engage in salat, tilawat of Quran, but the moment you start doing Allah, they will stop you. And Sarkar said, if you want to know a real munafiq, start doing zikr Allahu loudly, and these munafiqeen will feel as if their ass is on fire. ان کو ایسے لگے گا کہ جیسے آپ نے جو ہے کوئی آگ لگا دی ہے.
بالکل.
If you want to know a munafiq, start doing Allahu loudly in front of him. They will feel as if their heart is put in hell. And these Saudis, these Emiratis, these Wahhabis, in simple words, they can't take it. They cannot take it.
جی بالکل
سمجھے؟
جی بالکل
They cannot take it. They rejected spirituality. They rejected the path of purification, zikr ilahi. Quran said, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. Is there any place in Quran where God said, if you offer my salat, I will offer your salat?
No.
No. If you recite my kalima, I will recite your kalima.
No.
It is only about zikr.
بے شک
And Sarkar said, zikr is not part of the religion. It belongs to God.
کیا بات
Therefore, anybody can engage in zikr and purify.
کیا بات ہے سبحان اللہ
Zikr جو ہے
جی جی
وہ مذہب کا حصہ نہیں.
بے شک بے شک
Zikr is not part of any religion.
بے شک
Zikr belongs to God.
بے شک بے شک
فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. And when Imam Mahdi has come, at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Umar bin Khattab got angry when he saw people doing zikr loudly. But they were outside the mosque. One day, Abu Huraira, after the departure of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from this world, one day Abu Huraira went into the streets of Medina and he started shouting, "Oh, Muslims, what are you doing here? Go to Masjid an-Nabawi. Miras of Mustafa is being given away to everybody." And everybody went to the mosque. After a few hours, he came back into the marketplace in Medina and said, "Didn't you go to the mosque?" And they said, "We've been there, but there was no miras being distributed." And then he asked them, "What did you see there?" And they said, "Some people were sitting in a circle and they were doing Allahu, Allahu, Zikrullah." And Abu Hurairah said, "By God, this is Miras Mustafa." But I want to tell you, how is it Miras Mustafa? When this is done by the heart,
بے شک بے شک
not outside.
بے شک
When zikr is performed by your heart, it becomes Miras Mustafa. میراث کا پتہ ہے نا میراث کیا ہوتی ہے؟ انہیریٹنس. اب جو ہے now there is a question. Please pay attention. Quran said nobody is more cruel than a person who stops people from doing zikrullah in the mosque. And this person destroys the mosque by not allowing them to do zikrullah. I mean, the mosque is not deserted. The mosque is not deserted if salat is not offered. But mosque is considered as deserted if zikrullah is not allowed to be performed. یہی لکھا ہے نا آیت میں. دوبارہ پڑھ لینا ذرا.
ومن أظلم ممن منع مساجد الله أن يذكر فيها اسمه وسعى في خرابها.
یعنی if zikrullah is not allowed in the mosque, then God's stance here is that you are deserting the mosque. The life of mosque is in zikr Allah.
بیشک
The salat is offered quietly sometimes. There is no trace of life when salat is offered. But when you're doing zarab of Allah, 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 the entire mosque is lively. The entire mosque is lively. And I remember what Sarkar said. Sarkar said, any home, any mosque, any place, any heart which is engaged in zikr Allah, rahmat of Allah instantly starts falling on it. Instantly. کہ کوئی گھر ہو, کوئی دل ہو, کوئی مسجد ہو, جہاں ذکر اللہ ہوگا تو اللہ کی رحمت وہاں فوری طور پر نازل ہونا شروع ہو جائے گی. Muslims stopped doing zikr Allah in the mosques.
بالکل
Imam Mehdi Gohar Shahi started it again.
بیشک
And when Imam Mehdi started it again, within Islam, within Tasawwuf, people turned against this.
بالکل
And they developed so much hatred. They cannot bear to listen to any of the speeches of Sarkar. They cannot bear to hear the name of Sarkar Gohar Shahi. آخر جملہ کہہ دیتا ہوں. میں یہ بتانا چاہ رہا تھا کہ اس کے پیچھے جو بات ہے نا کہ یہ آیت امام مہدی کے لیے کیوں ہے, وہ جملہ میں نے جو رکھا ہوا ہے بچا, جہاں اللہ نے امام مہدی کی حمایت لی ہے. یعنی اللہ نے اب نماز کو بالکل بھلا دیا, کہا کہ اس سے بڑھ کر ظالم کون جو اللہ کی مسجد میں اس کے نام لیے جانے سے منع کرے اور اس کی خرابی میں جو ہے وہ حصہ لے. یہ اس لیے کہا کہ جب امام مہدی دین الہی لائیں گے تو پورے سارے مذاہب ساری قوموں کو صرف ذکر اللہ میں لگائیں گے, نمازوں میں نہیں لگائیں گے. تو پھر یہ کہیں گے کہ چلو جی ان ذکر والوں کو نکالو یہاں سے. بات سمجھ میں آئی؟ پھر اللہ اللہ ہی گونجے گا. The time is not far when you will see Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Jews doing Allah, Allah. یہ ٹائم دور نہیں ہے, اور یہ امام مہدی کا معجزہ ہے, یہ امام مہدی کا کرشمہ ہے, یہ امام مہدی کی قدرت ہے کہ کل مذاہب کو, ہندو سکھ عیسائی سب کو بٹھا کے امام مہدی گوہر شاہی اللہ میں لگا دیا. پھر لگے گی منافقوں کو آگ. یہ دیکھو ذکر کر رہے ہیں, یہ بھول جائیں گے ذکر کس کا کر رہے ہیں. یہ آیت جو امام مہدی کے لیے کہی گئی ہے اس کے پیچھے یہی راز ہے کہ اب ذکر اللہ نہیں کیا تو مسجد برباد ہو گئی, اب نمازوں کا ذکر نہیں ہے. یہ کیونکہ اب امام مہدی جو دین الہی کی بات ہے اس میں نمازیں نہیں ہیں, اس میں ذکر الہی ہے صرف. یہ حضور کے زمانے کے لیے نہیں تھی آیت, یہ امام مہدی کے لیے آیت ہے کہ امام مہدی کے دور میں یہ مساجد وغیرہ صرف ذکر سے ہی آباد ہوں گی. اب ہندو تو نماز نہیں پڑھے گا نا, ہندو تو صلاۃ نہیں پڑھے گا نا, نہ عیسائی پڑھے گا, نہ یہودی. امام مہدی ان کو ذکر اللہ پر جمع کریں گے, سب کا ذکر قلبی جو ہے وہ ایک جیسا ہوگا. ہندو کا بھی قلب اللہ کرے گا, مسلم کا بھی قلب اللہ کرے گا, یہودی کا بھی قلب اللہ کرے گا. سرکار will fill the hearts of Jews, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, all hearts with one word, Allah, Allah. سب کے قلب میں اللہ ہوگا. When Allah is in every heart, there will be no fight. There will be no Christian, no Muslim, no Jew. They will all be servants of Allah. اس کو کہیں گے حزب اللہ. یہ جو پھر نقشہ ہوگا, یہ جو سینیریو ہوگا جس میں کرسچن اور جوز اور سکھ اور سب مل کے بس اللہ کے عشق اور محبت کو فالو کر رہے ہیں, یہ کہلائے گا حزب اللہ. یعنی یہ ہوگا اللہ کا فرقہ.
کیا بات ہے,
یہ ہوگا ہاں گاڈز گروپ, ڈبل جی, حزب اللہ. اللہ نے اسی کو حزب اللہ کہا. ایک لبنان میں حزب اللہ ہے, لیکن وہ حزب اللہ نہیں, وہ کزب اللہ. حزب اللہ یہ ہوگا. سب کے قلب جو ہے, ہندو ہو, سکھ ہو, عیسائی ہو, سب کے قلب میں اللہ کا نام ہو. دین الہی میں دیکھ لو لکھا ہوا. تو یہ آیت کا تعلق امام مہدی سے کیسے بنا کہ امام مہدی نے سب سے مساجد میں مساجد اللہ کیوں کہا؟ یعنی جتنی بھی عبادت گاہ ہیں اللہ نے ان سب کو جو ہے عبادت گاہ کہا ہے. یہاں مساجد اللہ اس لیے جمع کا صیغہ استعمال کیا ہے, یعنی تمام جتنے بھی ادیان ہیں, کل ادیان کی کل جو عبادت گاہیں ہیں, ورشپ پلیسز, اللہ نے ان سب کو مساجد کہا ہے. یو کال ہندوز ٹیمپل اینڈ سینیگوگ اینڈ چرچ, اللہ سیڈ مساجد اللہ. آل دا پلیسز آف آل دا ریلیجن ویئر مائی نیم از مینشنڈ از مسجد اللہ. یہ اللہ نے کہا. اور امام مہدی سے تعلق کیوں بنا ہے کہ یہ اس دور میں آیت ہوگی کہ جب ذکر اللہ ہوگا صرف مساجد میں, اور اگر اس ذکر اللہ سے بھی روک دیا گیا تو مسجد اجڑ جائے گی, کیونکہ اس وقت ذکر اللہ ہی ہوگا, نماز تو ہوگی ہی نہیں. سمجھ گئے؟ دین الہی جو ہے اللہ کا دین ہے, اور اللہ نے اپنا دین اب اس کے دروازے کھول دیے. آپ اگر یہ سمجھتے ہیں کہ اب اللہ کے دین میں عام لوگ بھی جائیں گے, تو میں سمجھتا ہوں غلط سمجھتے ہیں. بات اتنی ہے کہ پہلے خاص لوگ اکا ڈکا آتے تھے, اب خاص کا مجمع آیا ہے, لہذا اس کو عام بنا دیا گیا ہے, عام کر دیا گیا ہے. یعنی ابھی اس کی پبلسٹی ہو رہی ہے کہ ادھر ادھر نہ جاؤ, یہ ہے تمہاری منزل, یہاں آ جاؤ. سمجھ گئے؟ آج کی گفتگو کو یہاں ختم کر دیتے ہیں.